Hey folks, welcome back to another video. In Bitwig Studio 5.1 we got new MSEX modulators in Bitwig Studio, and I showed you in some of the videos how to create basically a kick drum synthesizer from that. But I don't see myself using that too much. I always fall back to simple envelopes and combine multiple simple envelopes. It's also the same for bass lines. I never actually paint in a complex shape into a segment and then use that for the bass line. I always like to combine simple LFOs, multiple simple LFOs with kind of slightly different timing settings, and then combine these. In my opinion, it makes a better and much richer result in the end for some reason. So I want to show you this here with kick drums. So let's create some kick drums in the grid for drum bass. So I start here with the pulse oscillator, and I like the pulse because it gives you all the overtones, so you don't need to add distortion in the end. You just, have to start with all the overtones, and then you maybe add a filter to it, and then it sounds like a kick drum in the end. So I'm using an AD, and you can see the AD is basically the most simple envelope you can get. It has an attack and a decay phase. It's tailored for pluck sounds or for kick drum sounds. So here I'm using it just for the volume shape. I'm using an audio out here. I want to trigger this here with my keyboard. Okay. Then I want to use a pitch here, a static pitch, because the kick drum should be on the same pitch all the time. So G0. This is how it sounds. Then we need, of course, a bit of filtering here. So we use a low pass. Right. So we have an envelope here, which is pretty simple. And I don't want to use here segments and then, let's say, paint in here a very complex shape and fiddle around here basically for an hour to find a sweet spot for this shape. I don't like to do that. So I always fall back here to an AD, keep it simple, and then duplicate this here and use the second one for the pitch. So I'm using here a plus. Add this basically to the pitch itself, which sounds like this. So the pitch goes obviously too high, right? So we have to limit the range here. And I'm using an attenuate for that here at the end. So with this I can limit the range. So with this, I basically can define the body, the mid body of the kick drum, right? So then I can duplicate this here again and do the same thing again. Add this here, but here I use a different shape and maybe a different limit range. So something like this, right? So here we basically define, more like the attack phase, the high end of the attack phase. So you get this knock in the beginning. So here I'm using a very, very short decay time, but the limit is much higher than here, right? So this is more like the body, and this defines here the attack phase a bit better. Then we use here a third one, and we can use the third one for, let's say, here the filter. So we open up the filter here. Right, so you can define just with these four simple envelopes, combining them, you get a much richer result because they kind of add up in different ways. Instead of using just one segment or two segments and then painting in, you know, painstakingly precise the right shape. And here you just tweak a few knobs and then you get the right sound. And you already can hear, you can tweak this kick drum in all kinds of different directions, right? That's also something you can modify. You can use the modulator out. Maybe this one here. So this is a nice kick drum in my opinion. Instead of using segments, I use just here 4 simple ADs. Okay, so let's paint in here, let's say a kick drum pattern. So we have drum bass 170 or 172. Kick drum 1, kick drum 2. We could also here mix in a bit of noise. So let's say noise here. And then use another AD. And then maybe blend this here. I don't know. Maybe a mixer should be fine. Stereo is in. Or actually, dial in the noise and then use basically the envelope of the kick drum to duck the bass, duck the noise away. Maybe a bit of maybe there needs to be a bit of filtering here. So high pass, low pass. If you want to have this kind of noise in the end, but there's a bit of snare rattle always in real drums. If you hit the kick drum, right, you hear the rattle on the snare all the time. So you can try to simulate this here with this kind of noise. Just a bit. Okay, so this is the kick drum here. Then we want to use some kind of high-pitched snare or rimshot. And we do the same here. Actually, let's move this over here. I want to have this here and here. And in here we also use a pulse. We use pitch. Use a different pitch, of course. Simple AD. Out. Again, also a filter here. So we have here, yeah, not really a snare drum yet, but we will have it soon. So we add here also to do the same thing, basically, it's just a different pitch. Attenuate here. Then we want to open up the filter here. Then we need probably a bit of distortion here at the end. And we also need noise, AD, stereo noise. Then we mix this together here. And here also we can use just this AD here for the body and just duck basically the noise away. Yeah, the noise from the kick drum, that's too much. Right, so you can also add here a bit of filtering. So let's add here a peak. Basically, a peak is just an EQ peak, so it basically passes, or it lets pass all the frequencies, but you have some kind of peak at a certain frequency here with the resonance. Maybe here, and then here's a second one. And we can maybe also add here a peak in here. It's basically like an EQ, just to emphasize certain frequencies. Right here, this frequency, and maybe another frequency. K maybe. Okay. So with this, you basically get easy synthesized drum-based tech step drums inside of the grid here without using any. You can see there's no compressor involved, there's no distortion involved. It's just the bulls and a bit of filtering, some envelopes here. For the hi-hats, you can just fall back to the E hat here, which is okay enough, I would say. So let's put in here some hi-hats. Yeah, let's put this here. Okay, so we have some easy drums here for that. And then I wanted to show you, yeah, let's put the transient control here on that. Let's go for a sweep here first. So the sweep is basically a filter and a bit of distortion, right? So I'm trying basically to get a bit of tonality overtones in here just by, you know, using here the shaper and the mix knob. And maybe we can use in the post FX here convolution reverb, but we use a very short one. Studio rooms, let me see, studio plates, real rooms. Could use here maybe a follower and then just duck everything out so we stay with the tail but we keep the transients. Maybe a different algorithm here. Something like that. Then we use an FX3. Peak limiter in there. And maybe a hard clip at the end. Something like that. The hi-hats are maybe not the best ones. It's probably better to use samples for that. Or to layer actually some classic drum loops below that anyways to get a bit of, you know, a bit of organic feel to everything. So then yeah, for the bass line, it's basically the same. I never use segments here when I do bass sounds for some reason. I don't like it to paint in here just one shape and then have the same shape repeating over and over. Yeah, I know you can use multiple shapes, you know, but I usually stick to just classic LFOs. Let's say, yeah, classic LFO here, and then synchronize that. So let's bring in here a clip. And then a bit of noise here. Let's make this a bit longer. Right, so you have this one LFO and it plays basically this nice triplet here, or dotted. Right, and then you bring in here another one, and this one is a bit slower, let's say 1, and this one opens up here the shape. Or let's bring in this one here. Another idea is basically to make this a bit slower here, 4, and then change the speed setting of the first one. This could be also interesting. Or let something run free. So we can trigger this here, but we use just hertz, right? So let's, what else can we modulate here? Maybe this one. I'll switch this off here to 3. In my opinion, this sounds more interesting, more alive, more organic than just having just one shape. It's the same shape, and then you trigger it over and over. At least for bass lines. Let's go to minus 5. Oh, there's a bug there. It's very hard to modify. Okay, so here I use FX2 most of the times to cut a notch in the middle. You can see just by using one note and a pitch bend and 2 LFOs, you get so much movement into that. It sounds like it's all over the place, but actually it's a nice riff. The same here with the drums I showed you with the envelopes. Just by using multiple simple shapes here and there and combine them in different ways, you get much richer results than just painting in one complex thing and then calling it a day, and then it's static all the time. So that's at least how I see it, or how I use it. So I usually like simple things and then combine multiple simple things to get richer results. Okay. And I like it. This is super simple, but I like it. Hard clip here, just to make sure. That could be maybe in the beginning here. Let's go to 24. Let's see how this sounds. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically the main topic of this video. Simple things, combining simple things, and to get richer results instead of just using one complex thing. I see this all the time, that people basically do on streams. Then they open up these MSECs, right? And then they paint in basically for 1 hour, 2 hours, random shapes. And the reason why you do this is basically because you get bored with just one shape pretty fast. You paint in one shape and then you think, oh, that sounds nice, okay? And then you listen to it for maybe 2-3 iterations, and then you think, there needs to change something. Something needs to change, right? So then you paint in another shape and it sounds completely different. Then you say, oh, well, nice, now it sounds different. For the next 2 iterations, right? So all you want to have is basically an interesting shape that morphs over time and combines in multiple different ways. Like here, it's more like a polyrhythm of modulations. And then this gets you interested over a longer period of time. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Bye.